Hello, everyone. My name is Luke, aka Mr. Rage, and welcome back to the late night discussion videos. Not actually late night, please. Lights back on. Thank you. Anyways, this is going to be a bit of a different video because we are going to be talking about a bit of a touchy subject, and that is video game addiction. Is it actually real? And this is my opinion on if I think it's actually real. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, I'm just going to come clean, and I am going to say yes. Video game addiction is real. So, let me explain why I think it's real. Now, one of the reasons why people get addicted to things like drugs and alcohol, or sometimes even food is because of the way it makes people feel. One thing that all three of these things have in common is that all three of these things boost two chemicals in our brain, and that is serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin is basically your feel-good chemical. You know, it's the chemical you feel in your brain when something makes you feel good. And then you have dopamine, which is the feeling you get, which is like basically like your reward feeling. So like when you do something and you get rewarded for it, that's when that chemical activates. So dopamine, serotonin, these are the feelings that people usually get when they do things like take drugs or drink alcohol and stuff like that. But this does not just happen when people, take drugs and alcohol. This happens when we do anything that makes us happy. And that's why we do things that make us happy, pretty much, because of the way it makes us feel. But there is a reason why sometimes we get addicted to it, because obviously we like feeling good, and we like those feelings that those two chemicals in our brain gives us. So video games are no exception when it comes to things that make us feel good. And that is exactly why I do believe that video game addiction is actually a real thing, because just like everything else in life that makes us happy, video games do the same. And since we like the way we feel when we're happy, which is, not a problem, or when we're feeling good, because the chemicals just makes us feel good, that's why people tend to get addicted to not just video games, but really anything. So, yeah, I do believe that video game addiction is definitely a real thing. And the thing is although obviously I love video games can be extremely unhealthy. As a matter of fact, video games can actually be just as unhealthy as other things that we can get addicted to. Sure, it may not be as bad as a thing like drugs or alcohol or stuff like that, but video games can be just as dangerous as alcohol or drugs. Because you see, sometimes the thing about people who get addicted to video games is not only do they get addicted to the video games, but they also become kind of obsessed with them, actually. And I've heard stories of people becoming disconnected with reality and actually believing that they were inside the actual game that they were playing, or the actual game that they were addicted to. Talk about immersion. So yeah, video game addiction is definitely a real thing. And the reason why video game addiction can be just as dangerous is because, about that story that I heard, if people can actually believe that they are no longer living in reality, and they actually start to slowly believe that they are really inside the game, that sounds eerily similar to psychosis or a psychotic episode, because psychosis is basically being in a state that's disconnected from reality. So although it's not actual psychosis, it kind of mimics it, because again, it's all about being disconnected from reality. You know, it's like when your controller is disconnected from the console when it's charging. You know, you become disconnected from reality. So yeah, video game addiction is definitely a real thing. It most definitely is. And not only that, but getting addicted to video games and not wanting to do anything else, that's also extremely unhealthy. Like because like obviously it's not as bad as like, you know, going into a psychotic state and thinking that you're actually inside the game. May not be as bad as that, but it's still bad either way. Because you see, the thing is if you're just playing video games 24/7 and you're not doing anything, you know, you're not showering, you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're not going to work, and you're not making money to pay your bills and the rent for the house the roof that's over your head. I mean, you get where I'm going? Because if you're just playing video games, like literally like for most of your time, like only taking a break to go to the bathroom or hopefully drink something, if you guys can even remember to do that, yeah, that doesn't sound very good. And if I happen to be talking to anyone who actually is addicted to video games, like right now at this moment, seek help. Okay? Seek fucking help. Okay? Because if you can't seek help, try and snap out of it. Like, if what I'm saying has not snapped you out of it already, seek help. Because let me tell you something. If you are just playing video games 24/7, not only is that kind of fucking sad, but not doing anything will catch up to you. Not only will you be wasting your life, which is already a consequence because, well, you know, life, but there will be many other consequences as well. The bills are not going to pay themselves, and the food is not just going to magically appear on your table, okay? A piece of steak or a sandwich is not just going to randomly appear in your goddamn kitchen just waiting for you to eat it, okay? No, that's not how it works. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know how people can even get addicted to video games these days because of how high inflation is and because of how much people got to work just for, you know, how hard they gotta work just for food and water and rent. Because I already talked about this before, but, you know, inflation and high renting costs and all that crap, I mean, I'm not even sure how people can even get addicted to video games these days. I mean, y'all must be living with your parents or some shit. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Because I'm pretty sure it's too hard to even be addicted to video games these days. Because if you're not just living with your parents or someone else who lets you in, you're probably living on your own. You're probably living inside of an apartment or something like that. And the rent needs to be paid. And food needs to be put on the table. So for those of you who may be addicted to video games, please get some help, all right? Please actually just get some goddamn fucking help. Because if you are addicted to video games, you are facing many consequences just to be pressing buttons in a video game. Like, seriously. Like, and whatever game you're addicted to, tell yourself this. Whatever game you're addicted to, tell yourself this. You can play it again and again and again, as long as you're not just doing that 24/7. Like, look, let me tell you something. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Life is short. And that's why it's important to live life to the fullest. It's important to experience things in life. And those things that you experience can be wonderful things. Life is beautiful. Like, despite life being dark and grim sometimes, life is beautiful. And there are plenty of experiences that you could be experiencing by actually paying some attention to reality and not just fake worlds in video games. Life is beautiful. Get out there. Don't just touch grass. Do things. Do things that will make you appreciate and enjoy life just as much as video games. Because although I'm not saying life is better than video games, I'm not saying video games are better than life, video games is one of those great things that we get to have in life, as well as all the other things we get to have and experience in life. Video games is not just one of them. So get out there, touch some goddamn grass, and since video game addiction is a very real thing, if you feel like you have a problem, seek help. Do it for yourself and do it for your family and for your loved ones, because I know I definitely would not want to see any of my family members addicted to playing fucking Call of Duty all day. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a bit of a quicker discussion video, only around 10 and a half minutes, but yeah, not a lot to say on this whole topic. This is just something I wanted to talk about real quick, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next discussion video. Take care, y'all. Peace.